So tonight I wanted to really look at some basics of meditation and do it like a really basic guided meditation and kind of go back to our roots in a way. That's what we kind of looked at that last week, but this week I want to do that as well. And when I was, I guess the meditation teacher training program was started about maybe 8 years ago. I should look at the date on that and try to get that right too, but it seems like 8 or 9 years ago now. And in that program, it's basically one of the primary things in that program for teachers and for everybody to understand are three really important areas of meditation, and something that is very basic and something that we should all really have a firm grip on. And these things are basically our posture, a place, and the time that we meditate. And I wanted to briefly talk about those, and then we will kind of base our meditation on that. And the reason these things are important is because they are really the basis behind our practice. Very, very important stuff. And there's another element I'm going to put in there too. It's the object that we're using for meditation, and I'll talk about that in a minute though. But first of all, our place of meditation, where we meditate. Of course, the people here are meditating in this meditation learning center, this small hall here, but when we talk about, which is very important to know where you're at right now, but what I'm primarily talking about with place is your place at home, and it's very important because meditation should be really considered a home practice because of the consistency that it takes. And so when I ask somebody about meditation and talk to them about meditation, everybody should have in their mind their place that they go to and meditate at home. Without question, that should be the thing that comes up in their mind. If a person is not meditating as much as they think they should be, which is every day, they should have that in their mind, that place in their house without them in it. They should be able to visualize that. You understand what I'm saying? You should be able to understand where I meditate. When I'm there, I'm meditating. When I'm not there, I'm not meditating. And it could be anything. It could be a closet. It could be a place in your apartment or your bedroom with a chair in the corner, or it could be an elaborate cushion or some kind of an altar, with books and maybe something that you use for maybe if you use an app or a recording or something like that. An altar might have some books on it. Might surely have a statue, of a Buddha or something like that. But it doesn't have to have that. A lot of times, I can't remember the last time we did it, but we invited people to send in pictures of their meditation place. And it might have been for the teacher training program, but everybody would send in a picture of their meditation places, and some of them are very, very basic. And so I could take a picture of this room, right? And some of them were very elaborate, and none of them are right or wrong, or everything is safe, safe game. Everything is okay when we think about our meditation place. But the main thing is that when we find time, or when it comes to our time to meditate, and we're at home, we should be able to go right there. We shouldn't have to go, where am I going to meditate? Where I have to get away from this person or that person or whatever. How can I kind of hide away and find a silent place for myself? But we should know, And again, that place, which was in my case for quite a while, was in a car. I used to meditate while I was at work. That wasn't the only time I meditated, but one of my primary meditation places was in my car. What car did I have at that time? I think it was the Suzuki's Jeep that I had for a long time. But I would get in my car on my lunch break and go to a park and eat my lunch, or I would meditate and then eat. Did it either way. But I would do that, every day, well, 5 days a week anyway. And that was my meditation place for a long time, for several years. But I also had my place at home. And again, it could be the corner in your bedroom, it could be a place in your living room, whatever it might be for you. But you should have that, and it should. And the idea is to have it help you with the consistency of the practice, which is to do it every day. And if you do it every day, then you don't have to worry about how much or how long you're gonna meditate, or even how often you're gonna meditate, as long as it's done every day. That's the primary thing. So that's the first P, the place of meditation. Posture is very important, especially for people that are beginning meditation, because that always is kind of something in the back of the mind, like, am I sitting correctly, or am I doing this right? That kind of thing. And the idea, or the idea is to be comfortable. And if you sit in a lazy boy recliner in your living room, that's fine. If you sit on the floor, like a lot of us are right now, that's fine as well. It's just what a person prefers to do. If you prefer to be in a chair, that's good. If you prefer to be on the ground, that's fine. If you prefer to stand, that's fine. If you prefer to do walking meditation, why not? It's really a person's preference, but the primary thing is that you want to be comfortable, and if you're sitting, you want to have the back, almost always you want to have the back fairly straight. And if you're sitting in a chair, you want to have the back fairly straight. And if you're sitting in a cushion, back fairly straight. And what that does, it helps to increase the energy. Energy is very, very important in meditation. Otherwise, we get sluggish, we get tired. We kind of go into a dream state, and that's not anything that we're looking for. We're not looking to come out of a meditation and go, wow, that was really good, I was almost asleep. That's not what we're looking for. And in fact, the better meditations are really packed full of energy. They have a lot of energy behind it. And you people understand what I'm talking about, that have been meditating for a while. We have to have that energy, and the more energy, the better. And a lot of that is congruent with our posture. If we keep a fairly straight posture, we can feel that energy going up and down. We can breathe easier. The breath is very important with that energy. If we feel a little drowsy, we can use the breath to bring more oxygen into the body, more energy into the body. But we want to be comfortable. We don't want to be because one of the huge distractions that we can have in meditation is pain, or being uncomfortable with the situation, And so that is very important, whatever it takes. I'm always telling people, that we always have lots of, cushions and stuff here, so whatever it takes to be comfortable. We even got a couple wall leaners here, or there's other words for the wall people, but wallflowers is a good one, yeah. But the only trouble with a lot of wallflowers is if there's always one side of the wall or one side of the room with a wall, and so like if everybody goes over there, it's got very, very lopsided. It's like the ship would be leaning this way. But we don't have that trouble. You can enjoy your wall. That's fine.
Thank you.
Posture, and then we got somebody.
You also might want to put it on the gallery view so we can see everybody that's joined, because you've got it limited there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Want to see everybody? Yeah. All right. So First of all, I want to check, can everybody hear me okay? Jim, can you give me a thumbs up? All right, thank you, thank you. I want to make sure don't go too far here without doing a sound check of some sort. So, 7 people in the waiting room. I'm still admitting people here, just a moment. Is everybody in? I think that's okay, right? Thank you. And so, one of the other areas, looks good. One of the other areas is, as I mentioned, is the aspect of time. And the main thing with time, this is going to be very short because the main thing is consistency. You know, we want to be consistent, and that's the main thing. A lot of people ask me how long I should be meditating, and that's really up to the individual. So we don't have to be worried about how long as we do it, you know, on a continuous, consistent daily basis. And when that happens, we just typically normally want to meditate sometimes longer and sometimes shorter. It all depends. Then the other area, this is actually the 4th area. I told you there's 3, but that aspect of time is so short, so I'm adding another one, is that, of course, is very important as well, and that's the object, the meditation object. So some of you people that are just joining us, we talked about the place for meditation, posture of meditation, time, and now we're talking as far as the object of meditation. And the object of meditation, or the meditation object, is what we focus on, of course. And for most people that have started with me anyway, I encourage them to use the breath, because the breath is very, very common. It's always there. It's reliable. It can be very, very interesting at one moment. It can be very boring at the next. And most meditation objects are that way, and they should be that way. They should need a certain amount of attention and awareness for us to really notice them. And if that isn't the key, and then they can become boring. So if our meditation object is seemingly boring, we should be aware of that, and then be able to use it in certain ways to bring some life to it. So if we're focusing on the breath, for example, we can use it in many different ways. We can use the sensation of the breath, or the texture of the breath, the warmth, or the temperature of it, or many, many different things. We can focus on where we feel it in the body, how deep or how shallow the breath is. Bringing energy in the body, we mentioned that already, but using the breath to bring energy into the body, and all these different things that the breath can be used for. And this can be very confusing for people just starting out in meditation. All these things I just said, especially, the aspect of the breath, because the question comes, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? If I would say that we should be focusing on the breath, and that is our meditation object, we're using that breath as a tool to bring ourselves into the present moment. And when you listen to what I just said, theoretically, we could use a lot of things to focus on to bring us into that present moment. We could be using sound. Something, let's say we're sitting outside and we hear a bird chirping or singing. We could focus on that, and that sound, that chirping, is happening now. It's happening in the present moment as we listen to it at that moment. And so focusing on that sound of that bird brings us into the present moment. If we focus on a pain in the knee, that's very present as well. We're instantly in the present moment. If we're focusing on the sensation of the breath at the tip of our nose, same thing. We're being very, very present at that moment. The hard part, if we want to call it a hard part, is staying present for any determined length of time. If we have an intention to do a half-hour meditation, and we go, well, I'm going to meditate for a half hour and I'm going to be present for 30 minutes. It's tough to do. But the more we practice at it, the easier it can become, the easier we can do it. And then when we do that, basically what we're doing, we're dialing into our true nature, who we really are beyond the thinking mind. When we are present, that is us stripped away of all the garbage, basically. We are not thinking about our story, about who we were yesterday or who we were in the past. All those things that happened in the past. That's all stripped away when we're in the present moment. And we're not thinking about the grand and glorious things that we'll be doing in the future, or the miserable, terrible things that will happen in the future. We're not thinking about any of that. We're stripping all that away, and we're taking a look at what is happening to this mind and body. No name, no judgment, no nothing right now at this moment. And so whatever meditation object works for us to do that, so use it. But primarily, I ask people, if there's any question at all, I ask people to bring their attention to the breath. Just boom, bring it to the breath. Wherever you feel the breath the most, usually someplace in the face, oftentimes between the tip of the nose and the top of the lip, right here, what is called the anapanasati spot. Some people call it that anyway. I'm sure you didn't call it that this morning when you said, I'm going to rub my anapanasati spot or something like that. And if the breath is something that isn't working for you, we talked about this last week. Lyle brought up a question about the nimitta, that sign that we see with our eyes closed, like a bright light within the mind. Because when we're meditating, our eyes are closed, and there's visualizations that we see. We're not trying to create anything. We're not trying to force anything, but sometimes something will come up into our vision. And if we notice that it just happens very easily and comes up, and we're not trying to create that, there's a good chance that we might consider using that for our meditation object. And we can kind of play with that. But we're not trying to create anything. We're not even trying to create that sensation of breathing. We're just breathing very normal and letting things happen very naturally, and we're focusing on it. And when we look at it that way, there's nothing magical about meditation at all, except that it points out who we truly are, our true nature, or what some people call our Buddha nature. And before we do our meditation, I have to say one more thing. Important thing is that I really feel that the primary aspect of meditation is letting go. There's always something to set aside, within this mind-body. A belief, something of the past, something that has been troubling us all of our lives, something that has been following us, something that we know isn't good for us, maybe some negative habit or something. But usually in meditation, these things can come up for us, and then we start realizing that in order for me to be complete in this world, this is something that I have to let go of. And meditation has a way of pointing that out to us, and I believe that is the primary function of meditation, is for us to understand what we have to let go of, and it's different for each individual. And it's not only one thing, I can almost guarantee that too. Oftentimes we'll find a different thing to let go of every time we meditate, different things that we can let go of. And so, meditation is not this. It's not, I'm going to try to get this, I'm going to try to get more of a peace of mind or whatever. It's not bringing something into the game of meditation, into the practice. It's getting rid of something that is not allowing us to feel complete in the world. And so I think that's a very important aspect of it. We'll do a meditation here. And first of all, I'm going to ask if there's any questions, because if we start a meditation and there are questions, it can be difficult to meditate. Anything from anybody? Good. That means that I was fairly clear when I was speaking. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. And we talked about that. That's the posture aspect. You want to be as comfortable as you possibly can. If you don't feel like you can sit for a good solid 2 hours, then you might want to make some adjustments. We're not going to sit a solid 2 hours, but if you don't feel comfortable right away, then you want to, make yourself comfortable. Also, the equipment has a lot to do with it too. The right cushions. Sometimes if you're not comfortable, sit higher up. It helps a lot to just sit higher on your cushion or higher in your chair. Make yourself comfortable and gently close your eyes. If you haven't done so, feel free to take a couple of nice deep breaths and see how that feels. And when you do so, just imagine that you're breathing in, those big gulps of air are actually big gulps of love that you have for yourself. You're breathing in love. Because at this point, if you're meditating, you should be loving yourself. Because you're doing a wonderful, wonderful thing for you. You're going into places of the body and mind that a lot of people are very fearful of looking at. Very fearful of taking 30, 40, 50 minutes out of their day to fully explore what's going on within the mind-body. Particularly within the aspect of trying to notice and be aware of something that they would like to or should be letting go of. Very, very fear-based for a lot of people. And so give yourself and appreciate yourself, love yourself for doing this practice. So noticing your posture, notice if there's any tension anywhere in the body, and see if you can relax that. And kind of check and see if maybe that tension is there for a reason. I believe that most everything happens for a reason. Most everything has a purpose. even pain or discomfort or stress within the body is giving us a message of some sort. It's telling us something. And so we want to use that discomfort, at least for a while. We don't want to necessarily focus on it, but we can use it for a meditation practice. And we can use it right now by using the breath to kind of breathe through some of these areas and bring some comfort and relaxation to them. If your shoulders are stiff for some reason, try breathing a nice, cool, fresh air through the muscles of the shoulders. And then relax the shoulders as you do so. And notice how much this brings you into the present moment. If you're doing this, and if you're doing this correctly, you're not thinking about the past. You shouldn't even be thinking about how it's going to make you feel in the future. You should just think about and be concerned and aware of how it's making you feel right now in the present moment. If there's a ache or pain or discomfort in the lower back, try breathing through that area. Any place in the body where there's any kind of stiffness or tension or pain. And do this like you're the master of the mind and body. Like you know exactly what you're doing. You're going in and relieving any kind of discomfort. And do this like you've done it 1,000 times before. And notice how you can feel the tension or discomfort just kind of melt away. And most of all, relax that area of the body as much as you can while maintaining a good posture. And now staying with the breath, you can use it any way you like. More than likely, everybody that is meditating now is using the breath slightly different than the person next to them. See if you can find the sensation in the body where you feel the breath the most. The area of the body that seems to work the best when you're focusing on the breath, when you're using the breath as your meditation object. And then use that area of the body as your focal point. And this is something that you want to come back to again and again. And you people that have been meditating for a long time know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're new to meditation, this area of the body is kind of like the flagpole in the windstorm. It's something to come back and kind of hang on to if the weather got nasty. So if your mind starts wandering off, and as soon as you catch that, and realize that it doesn't feel like you're meditating anymore. It just feels like you're thinking about something, or worrying about something, or dreaming about something. When you catch yourself doing that, come back to that place on the body where you feel the breath. For me, it's right around the nostrils. There's a sensation of the breath that I can feel there, that I can very easily pick out. I can visualize it if I want to, otherwise I can just feel it. Something substantial, something very, very subtle as well. So we're not manipulating the breath. We're not trying to change anything or make it different. We're just breathing naturally and being aware of it. If the breath was a spiritual instrument, we would all be enlightened. But it's just simply a tool that we're using to point to us our true nature. Meditation is a practice of letting go. It's a practice of surrender. And I heard it said the other day that until we can let go of the baggage of the past and forget about what might happen in the future, in other words, give up this aspect of time, that we will really never be free, not as free as we can be. If we can drop all of that right now, we can be free in this moment, right now. And if we practice this, we can use this to awaken. And it's like awakening has different definitions to it, but I think awakening is an aspect of freedom, being free within the mind and the body. It's being able to understand life, the purpose of life, and our purpose with life. And kind of find that agreement that this is why we're here, this is the job we have to do, or that we get to do. And that no matter what happens, it's all a part of that. no matter what happens in our life, there's a reason for it, for our own growth and for the growth of others. That every one of these mishaps or one of these adventures or one of these things that happens is a part of the lesson that we're supposed to get from it. And life contains all of these lessons, and the more we receive and learn from, the better it will be for us. So in meditation, it's as if it shows us these things that can get in the way of this understanding for us. And it's nothing that can be pointed out by another person, or by reading, or by watching something on YouTube or anything. It's a part of the insight that comes up for a person as they meditate. Sometimes it's very clear and simple and pointed out in such a way that we know what has to be let go of. And it can be pointed out to us again and again. And if we refuse, then we just have to do it all again. sit in silence for 5 more minutes and use the breath. And see if the breath can bring you into that presence. That is a trademark of our meditation practice. Guided meditation is a wonderful practice in itself, but there's nothing that can beat the power and the power of the message that the silent meditation can bring for us. I invite you to take a couple of nice deep breaths of fresh air. Bring some energy into the body. And notice how you feel within the mind and within the body. Just kind of check in. And bring your hands together in front of your heart if you like. May each one of us and all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to us. May no difficulties come to us. May we all meet with spiritual and worldly success. May you have the patience, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome any problems or any difficulties that we might face in life.